we will talk about values, and our subject, and as you know, are about how to embrace values in exchange and cultural work. How can we foster solidarity and cross-cultural cooperation in the time when borders are closed, and when they're not closed, it's still uncertain whether they will be or not, and there are many circumstances that make this cooperation more demanding. How can we foster it?
For us, concretely, of course, we want to foster certain values. We believe in them, and actually all that we're doing has a connection with values. We do, in a way, a normative work. But we don't do it in a way that we dictate the content of projects that we support. We very mildly support some values in the application and selection process. Like, for example, we want to encourage for applying projects that they are accessible to disabled people. So that's why we give bonus points if we see that a project is actually accessible or even promotes accessibility, just to give a concrete example. But I would also argue that the fact that culture can take place is a value in itself, and the fact that that people can engage themselves in society, realize an agenda that they deem important, not with us or any other donor telling them what that agenda is, but that what people actually want to do, to create a space in which they can do that. That, I think, is actually the best where we can get in when we talk about values, because that then really connects with the giving people the ability to express themselves, creating a framework in which difference can be experienced. That's, I think, particularly important when we talk about transcultural cooperation. This is, to a large extent, about experiencing difference, not as a threat, but as, well, in the majority, as a positive, inspiring experience.
I think it's very important you said that the cultural cooperation is about creating space for experiencing difference, and I think this creating space brings us back again to the first part of your answer. So, like, is digital space a space of cooperation? Definitely yes, but of experiencing culture here, that's a question I pose myself in my work also every day.
A few fields where Tbilisi and Georgia itself can kind of solidly and proudly stand next to the leading European cities and countries. And Georgian electronic scene has maintained this power, you know, and it's important to say that the global scene of the electronic scene really appreciates the Tbilisi electronic scene, and it was really shown during this COVID-19 situation. Everybody, the whole scenes have gone into the deep crisis with the closed venues and unemployment and the real risk of losing everything. But the Berlin Club Commission and the Reclaim Club Culture initiated I can say that this kind of helping hand platform with the United We Stream, where the visitors were kindly asked for donation, and in return they would receive this kind of virtual club ticket. And the income would go to the foundation and to the funding in order to help the clubs and the artists and the venues. Tbilisi has become part of this global United We Stream platform, and we are still broadcasting from different clubs and bars and pre-clubs and venues. And the financial support is not that big. Of course, it cannot change us. But the most important thing for me, and I'm sure that for all the representatives also, is that we stand together.
Very important issue of being together, of people feeling free doing something together, and United We Stream as a great example of cross-border solidarity among people being into being followers of a movement, being into something together. It's a pity Of course, that you don't have so much local support, but maybe this will come with time. But I still think it's important to feel supported, that when we physically not together, that, you know, somewhere there are the people in the same situation. And I can only add that from my perspective, we also during COVID experienced some kind of unity among similar institutions that we didn't expect before. But as we were all on the same boat, it somehow came and like also brought us stronger.
I just want to highlight to one my recipe for the success to make cultural projects. I think it's correlation between the values that you want to deliver by your projects and also the values that your team share. If they correspond, you are there. You're there when really you have great projects where your team think that it's the values that you want to deliver.
This what you yourself said at the end, so to live with the values or to present the values by praxis, the ones that you want your participants, in this case, or your people who apply to you when you founding foundation to deliver. And I also found it interesting many structural points you said about like the decentralization and inclusiveness, including people ownership for people with disability. I think this is very, very important. I would like to ask come first to all three of you with a question that was mentioned every of the speeches, but now more practically, probably for this crowd watching us really importantly. So closed borders and collaboration, how to enhance it, how to support it, how we work internationally once when you can't travel, and what are the maybe limitations of the digital cooperation, and the question that I mentioned while after Christian's speech, so how we make people explore or experience some kind of, you know, real culture, I mean real offline, I should say now, probably real now goes for online as well, while they cannot meet. Is it possible? Is it not possible? Do you have good examples? You also, Daryna was speaking about the residencies and exchange of ideas and of cultural artistic practices. Can we really move it, you know, online, or where are our limits?
And then the question is, do we do that in order to build up cooperation links, ideas, etc., that one day we can see realized physically in front of us and that we can embrace with all our senses? Or is that really a long-term solution that can carry us, you know, for years? And with this very long-term perspective, I'm a bit more skeptical. I think we will want to have both in the future.
Thank you. Sophie?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm also skeptical in the long-term perspective. You know, nowadays, as with the closed borders and everything, yeah, we try to adapt ourselves, and in the artistic way. For example, when we talk about the electronic music, for example, with the production stuff, artists working with another artist, for example, creating some music. With the kind of digitalizing world, yeah, it's okay. But in order to experience the way we used to experience it, you know, it's kind of impossible, because we're streaming online the live acts, and even there have been some virtual club nights and etc. But it can't be substituted, you know, to the real world, because this culture is really based on the value of connecting and bridging communities and people together. So without that, it's kind of really kind of Black Mirror future for me, for example. And I would use this time of this lockdown period in order to get some connections, you know, to the organizations with the same values, and to the kind of funds and NGOs, and to the other clubs maybe, and venues and the artists, just to have all this information and start to collaborate in order, I really do hope that in 2000, 21, we all have these borders open, and we will dance like never before.
Thank you. Daryna?
I completely agree with Krista and with Sophie, and I also think that this time of the lockdown is also about making new connections and seeking for new formats. Because I just want to mention some new networks that appeared now in 2020 because of the quarantine, because of the COVID. It's about cultural jams, it's Creatives Unite, it's social distancing festival. It's all new platforms that were created, I think, in spring, in summer, so that the artists from all the world during the lockdown can make new connections. So it's also about new opportunities. But still, you know, that I completely agree with Sophie that we need to adapt to new things that we are stuck together. And I know, you know, that even in a month ago, there was a webinar with Richard Florida, and he was asked about the city, because like he's a guru for the city theory. And he said that, yeah, even in the lockdown, even in quarantine, the city will be crowded, and the city will be the center of cultural life, but there will be new formats, like artists will go on the streets, as example. So I think that we will have the offline formats, we will have, I hope, and we will still make connections, but we will try to change it to our new challenges, and to make new formats, new links, and to create new types of cooperation and new types of projects, which I think that is a good one, because it will maintain the creative potential of all our creative community.
Thank you for that. I will just say, maybe jokingly at the end, that maybe this format is not so new. I don't know if you remember many years ago when people used to have pen friends. So people you would write letters to, and they will write you back with the hope that one day you will meet them or visit them, or something will be open. And then sometimes I, in my work, feel that through building this new partnership, old partnership, exchanging emails and exchanging Zoom, this is like this pen friend kind of exchange with a hope that that, like Sophie said, and thank you for this word, one day we'll meet and dance together like never before.